Happy Thursday. It is the 25th of February, 2021. Thanks for watching the Calvary briefing today. I want to encourage you and challenge you today. Some of you are watching and have been watching online for some time, and you haven't been back to in-person worship, and you are maybe stagnating a little bit. Some of you have maxed out your ability to participate in church in a virtual way. And some of you are finding it comfortable to have Sunday mornings free. Well, I wanted to let you know something. We are blue in Broomfield, Colorado. Being blue does not mean that we're depressed or angry or upset. Being blue means that we have the capacity for more people to be at in-person worship at Calvary. And so this word is for you this week as you are thinking about what you're going to do on Sunday morning at 9:30. I wanted to share with you some insight from an article I read by a guy by the name of Brett McCracken. I don't always agree with Brett McCracken's perspective on things, but he wrote an article recently entitled 5 Ways the Church Makes You Wiser. 5 ways the church makes you wiser. In our postmodern, secular, humanistic culture, the church by and large is looked at as being irrelevant and unimportant. When you take a look at the church and you see hypocrisy and some of the problems that the church has, there are many who say, why bother? But McCracken writes, I've seen in my own life and in the lives of many others that the church can be an indispensable source of stability and growth, a treasure trove of communal and spirit-infused wisdom that we would be foolish to neglect. The church makes us wiser, and wise people live better than foolish people. So I wanted to just share with you 5 ways that the church makes you wiser. First of all, communal wisdom is better than individual wisdom. We live in an individualistic age when the independence of each thinker and each person is valued. And yet when we follow our hearts and when we are looking only to ourselves, we realize the truth of what Jeremiah 17:9 declares. That is, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. We're obsessed with ourselves, we're selfish, we fall into selfishness without even thinking about it. We are biased, we have opinions. Being around people who are different from us helps us to see different perspectives than our own. When we are living only under our own authority, it's hard to become wise. Proverbs 15:22 says, without counsel, plans fall, but with many advisors, they succeed. Communal wisdom is better than individual wisdom, and the church can help to make us wiser. Secondly, God-centered rhythms are better than me-centered schedules. God-centered rhythms are better than me-centered schedules. If you've ever been a part of any church, you are aware of the fact that we have a yearly schedule. You're also aware of the fact that we have a weekly schedule. No matter what we are doing in the spring, we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ from death. No matter what we're doing in December, we remember that Jesus Christ came into our sinful, dark world. In all of these things, we are focusing on God. And even as we gather each Sunday morning, we are putting God at the center of what we are doing rather than ourselves. Even when we come together and we bow in prayer, just the act of bowing in prayer is an acknowledgement that God is at the center. And as we come together, we realize that some basic truths are there for the asking, for the taking. Many of us are wondering, what do we do about situation A or B in our lives? When we come together as God's people, we're reminded of things like James 1:5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. God-centered rhythms are better than me-centered schedules. Thirdly, the wisdom of our limitations is a really good thing. And when we come together as God's people, when we gather together in church, we are reminded of the fact that we are an individual. We're limited. We don't have all of the potential in the world. We don't have all the gifts and abilities in the world. Every spring, when a new group of high school seniors graduates, we see a number of ridiculous short phrases that spout out the fact that we have all limitless potential. Well, we do have potential, but we also have limits. One of the acronyms that I'm seeing more and more these days is FOMO, F-O-M-O. For a long time, I didn't know what it meant. And then I asked someone who I thought might know, and they told me. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Well, listen to the words of Brett McCracken as he talks about this. Committing to a local church family, like embracing one's place in one's given nuclear family, means committing to this particular family, this particular place, this particular outpost of God's kingdom. It is narrowing down our field of limitless choices. But far from shrinking our world, this limitation is freeing. To land in a church and to be grounded there, to be accountable there, provides a spiritual and relational stability that reduces the number of variables in life. It provides a defined plot of land where we can put down roots, grow, and be fruitful. It challenges the FOMO restlessness that tempts us to move so quickly from place to place that we never bear fruit anywhere. The wisdom of our limitations is a good thing, and we see it every time we gather together. Fourth, the wisdom of the embodied community is better than this ethereal age. Ethereal, interesting word. Simply means living in something that isn't real. Social media and all of the digital wave activities that are happening in our world today give us the impression that we are connected. But it is a fake connection, and it actually leaves us empty. Why are people with 600 friends on Facebook complaining that they are all alone in the world? Why is loneliness on the rise? Because the digital life is not a real life. Being in church with real people connects us. Real life happens in an embodied community of believers. Paul spoke to the Corinthians, and he told them over and over again, when you come together, when you come together. If you have the choice of being with the church family physically, and you choose the virtual option, you lose out. Finally, continual wisdom is better in our changing age. Continual wisdom is better in our changing age. In the 1700s and the 1800s and the early 1900s, change came about more gradually. Most people grew up on farms. They really didn't even think about what they would do with the rest of their lives. They simply decided that they would do what their moms and their dads did. Today, we're told that our children will likely have 3 careers because their first career will be outdated and obsolete, and then their second career will also be outdated and obsolete, and they'll have a third career in their lives. When we are physically gathered with other believers, we worship the God who does not change. The thing we need is continual wisdom from the God who doesn't change in our changing age. Remember the words of God in Malachi 3:6. For I, the Lord, do not change. Continual wisdom in a changing world is best. It's wise. I'm reading a book about Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the pastor who stood firm during World War II. He stood up to the Nazi regime and ended up dying a martyr in a German prison. He stayed strong, although he was thrown into really tough circumstances. I was aware as I was reading this week, Dietrich Bonhoeffer read the same Bible that I read. And he wrote a short book entitled Life Together. I commend it to you. It's a great read. And in this little book, he wrote this sentence: Christianity means community through Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ. Christianity means community through Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ. Brothers and sisters in Christ, we are blue. We have opportunity to be together as we haven't been together in over a year. Do you want to be wise? Do you want to live the best life possible? Come to church.